So recently, a lady called me and she was all teary and she was complaining. She was talking about her husband and how her in-laws are intruding into our home and they make decisions for them. They actually don't even do it behind. They come to the home to say to her, to say to them. And, they were actually planning a birthday party. And then they had to cancel the birthday party because someone came to the house and said a lot of things, and it was her in-law, one of her in-laws. And then she was all teary. She was asking her husband, why are you doing this? You don't listen to me. You don't take what I say. When we agree on a thing, that someone comes to shift it and all of that. She said to me that she's tired, she's done. There was even a time she even her husband had to leave the house because someone also influenced him to do that. And I was so sympathetic with her at the moment, and I said to her that, do you have strategies? What are the strategies that you keep in place to actually make sure that your home can actually blossom? Not that you wouldn't have problems and challenges along the way, but you can have a balance over a period of time. Even when it comes, it doesn't wear you out, it doesn't drain you, it doesn't destabilize you, it doesn't take you out of feet. The first thing she said to me was that they don't even pray together, they don't even go to the same church and all of that. And so we started having conversations on that line. So this is what we want to talk about today: strategies to having a great home. And so one more time, you are welcome to Esther's Moment. Yes, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow. Share to everyone around you. Number one strategy for having a great home is that you prioritize praying together. I once had another conversation with someone who says she prays a lot, but she doesn't pray with her husband. She says her husband is busy, he goes to work, he wakes up early, does this and all of that. I said, okay, I see, and that's also good. But I said to her that you have to calendarize that. What that means is that you have to look at his schedule and you have to say to yourself that we have to do this at this time. You speak to him and have conversations on how you can both pray together. Praying together, scripture talks about that in Matthew chapter 18 verse 19, that if two of us should agree on earth as touching anything. So it means that we have to come together. That's power when two. We are one would walk. But when two pray together, there's so much grace that is released in the covenant of a marriage. And so when you hold your hands together and pray together, it will shift your family and your home to a better place. So you have to strategize. And I know that a lot of people here are going to say that their husbands are not believing husbands. Yeah, there are times that you have to stay in the place of prayer as the believing spouse, or their wives are not believing wives. You have to stay in the place of prayer as a believing spouse, to pray and, convert the other person. But praying together, it's a powerful strategy that can actually help your home to have an edge and to win the tactics of the enemy. Because in praying together, your hearts are mended. Is coming together as one, because the Spirit of God will now overwhelm me, and the Spirit of God comes with unity and oneness. It comes with the power of unity, the power of oneness. The thing is, if you can pray every day, that's fine. But then again, if you really can't pray every day, you can decide that we pray every Monday night or Wednesday night or Thursday night. We have to pray every Friday morning. We do 4 a.m. or after you watch this or you're done with this, we can pray for 1 hour, 45 minutes. We'll have a need we're trusting God for. I know of a couple trusting God for the fruit of the womb. The woman goes everywhere praying, but she said her husband doesn't have time and they don't pray together. I say, your husband doesn't have time. No, you have to pray together. Even when you make love, you have sex. That's good enough. Yeah. But you see that prayer thing, you need to do it together. You need to hold hands together and engage spiritual warfare. That will give you an edge. So that's the first thing, first strategy, is to prioritize praying together. Number 2 is that you prioritize intimacy. Intimacy is intimacy. And when it comes to intimacy, it's not about sexual intimacy, physical touch, holding hands, hugging, kissing, and all of that, and all of those are fantastic. In fact, the famous Dr. John Gottman, who is a relationship therapist and a family practitioner, says that the 6-second kiss rule, enhances, some level of fondness and mindfulness for couples. So that's so fantastic. But you also need to have emotional intimacy where you're vulnerable to each other. You share your fears, your feelings, your doubts. You open up to your spouse. That also brings some level of depth and closeness. You also have intellectual intimacy. Intellectual intimacy is where you share your ideas and your interests, those things that pop up on your mind, those great things that you want to do. Come on, you need to share. I believe that in intimacy, if you can have emotional intimacy, intellectual intimacy, spiritual intimacy, like I talked about when I talked about praying, you will be so fond of each other. See, the devil is not afraid of a family coming together, of a couple coming together. The devil is actually afraid of couples that are intimate, spiritually intimate, intellectually intimate. You understand? You are emotionally intimate. You are open to each other in every way. You don't hide anything. You share your thoughts. You share your views. You have financial intimacy. No one is making more money and hiding it. No one is having to spend and not opening up to the other person. No one is lying about. I read one story one time how someone went to a school to tell her husband that they should inflate the fees with 150,000 naira over the normal fees. And why? You want to make your hair. I mean, you really want to ask your husband for money. Financial intimacy says that you have to say the truth. Yeah, all of those things build some level of integrity, truthfulness, and trust for the relationship. So you have to be intimate, open up, say the truth, pour your heart to your spouse. Not just physical intimacy, like I said. And if you are not even very intimate, like you don't hold your hands together, your children don't see you hold your hands, you don't hug each other, you don't kiss when you're going out. I'm not talking about no. I mean, maybe that's for the kids, you can blow that for the kids. But for your husband, you should be able to kiss your husband for 6 seconds before he leaves you. You know, that will keep your thoughts running on your mind. So intimacy, you have to prioritize on all levels, unity and uniformity in purpose, in vision and ideas. That will push your family to a good edge. And you also need to play together. That's recreational intimacy. You need to play together. Some couples don't play. The husband comes and he's like, "Good day, everybody. Where's my food?" And all that. The woman is like, "Okay, I'm making your food." Nobody plays. Nobody makes the house so soft and, enjoy. The kids are playing, daddy's playing. Hello, what's happening? Please play. Play together. Relax together, rest together, renew yourself together, refill yourself together. Do you see this? So you need to plan for recreational intimacy. I know that if you invest in intimacy, it's going to shift your home to a good place. And I know this, like I said earlier, that the devil is not afraid of couples who come together or husband and wife coming together. He's afraid of couples that are intimate. Because when you are intimate, it means that nobody's hiding. Scripture talks about they were naked and they were not ashamed. Do you understand? Number 3 strategy is that you have to prioritize effective communication. You have to speak. And I don't know how couples do this thing, because the only way that you actually got to know yourself is through communication. And you know why communication is powerful? It's the breeding place for affection and connection. Communication is powerful. How was the serpent able to deceive Eve? It was communication. Daily coming to her all the time. The basic act of communication is that you listen more than you speak. Hey, it's so beautiful, because I don't think it's really okay when both couples are talking at the same time. You have to learn to listen. Now, in listening, it's the what the person is not saying, because at times when you are focused on what the person is saying to you, you're focused, you're not distracted by your phone, no TV, and no food. Sometimes I believe when some conversations should be had, there should be no food on the table so that we can focus on our focus. You understand? Give lesser and brutal focus to this conversation. When the person is communicating, you can see what they are not saying, and then you can now help them and understand where they are coming from. You can feel for them. Learn to listen, not to respond. Learn to listen, to understand the person. I love it when spouses communicate all the time. Like your spouse is your good to go guy. There's something happening in your office, something happening at the kids' school. You're not calling. I'm not saying you shouldn't call your mom, your sisters, your friends, but your spouse. When you start calling your spouse all the time, it shows that there's something there. Your home is sweet, and that's how you know a home that is sweet. When you can communicate very often. Communicating very often would always breed a place for affection, connection, and power. And there's something that happens a lot in marriages: assumption. Assumption is an activator for annoyance. You know why I said that? Because you just assume that your spouse should know. No, if you want to be touched a certain way, you're making love to your husband, you want to be touched a certain way, you should tell your husband. If you want a particular need, you should tell your husband. I recall when my husband, in the early time of our marriage, and my husband would say to me, "Baby, it's so hard to please you, it's so hard to buy you a gift." I'm like, He buys me gift, but me, I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, thank you, I appreciate, thank you. But after a period of time, I learned that I have to communicate to him, tell him that, okay, this is what I like, this is what I would love, and okay, my birthday's coming, this is what I would like. Communicate, tell them. And sometimes I'm in the office, I would like that you send me a message by 12 noon. Sometimes when I make my hair, I say to him, I communicate with him, I tell him, you haven't complimented my hair. I'm not going to assume I'm saying that, but he saw my hair. Something has happened outside. He's busy, he's a bit overwhelmed. So maybe he's not seeing that. I'm not saying that he should not, but he should. But I'll be like, Sunshine, you haven't talked about my hair. You haven't talked about my brows. You haven't talked about my dress. And you'll be like, okay, hey, I'm sorry. Oh, your hair is nice. So you communicate. Because every time you assume, you just activate the atmosphere for annoyance, which is not good for your home. So communicate all the time in calmness and in beauty. You can do that. Number 4 strategy is that you have to prioritize serving each other. Hey, all those men that come and say, I am the boss. You have to what? Jesus was our boss when he was on earth, but he served. When you model the idea of serving to your spouse, now it's both ways, husband serving, wife serving the husband, you allow your home to go through a simple sailing where you begin to soar with ease. When you serve each other, you have to prioritize serving each other. If you want to see your spouse do something, you have to model it. You want your spouse to always wake up in the morning and kiss you. Yes, you have to model it. Don't complain and say he's not kissing you, he's not buying you gifts, he's not doing this. Model it. Serve your spouse. In serving, you meet their needs. In serving, you are waiting on them to make them happy. Yes, and in that way, when they are happy, when they have joy, they can also spread it around. Because in service, you're not going to be saying that this person is not doing what you want them to do. You are just serving with your heart. When you serve, when couple A serves, when husband serves wife and wife serves husband, he allows the home to sail. He allows the home to soar. So you need to serve each other, prioritize serving each other and meeting each other's needs. When you serve your spouse, you model what you want them to do instead of murmuring. So modeling would help you to kill the appetite or the reason why you would have to murmur. Number 5 strategy is that you have to prioritize meeting their needs. Because I recall a conversation I had with a couple, and I was like, so what do you like? What do you like? I was just asking random questions. What do you like? And I asked the husband, what do you like? And so they both said different things. I said, what does your husband like? What does your wife like? They said different things. And I'm like, something is happening here that's not really okay. I've come to realize that you can be doing a lot of things for your spouse, but you're actually not meeting their needs. And so you need to understand their very love language. If they want active service, if they want physical touch, if they want you to buy them gifts, if they want words of affirmation. So you need to know the exact thing that would touch their heart and and make their heart to be soft and tender towards you. So you have to meet the needs of your spouse. You need to maybe ask them, yes, what will make you happy? What will make your work or your job easier? What do you think I should do that would give you a better standing when you want to talk about your husband and all of that? That way, when you meet the needs of your spouse, your hearts will be knitted together and you begin to beat as one. Number 6 strategy is that you should prioritize getting away together for some time. So I learned this is a rule. The rule 222. Rule 222. So rule 222 says that every 2 weeks you plan a date night. Every 2 months you should go out of your home. Yes, enjoy yourself, stay in a hotel. Then every 2 years you should plan a vacation. Rule 222. It's powerful. It's a game changer. Because right there, every 2 weeks if you have to get together, you would get to bond again. You'll be close. At the end of the day, of course, it's not just going to end there. We're going to just step further, step higher. And there's some things that you haven't said probably that happened in a week. So yes, when you come together every 2 weeks, date night, you begin to spread that out and talk about that. See, every time that you show up every 2 weeks and have those deep connections and conversations, you don't pile up troubles and problems and discontentment that you have in the marriage. So it's a game changer. Rule 222. Every 2 weeks, you plan a date night. Every 2 months, you step out of your house. Every 2 years, you go for a vacation. But the thing about vacation is that you have to plan for it. You have to save up. Yes, it's not something you just wake up in the morning and as much as you're planning to invest, yes, when you make money, you have to also multiply the money. You don't have to spend all the time, but you have to plan for that. So that also renew your home. I hope that this has blessed you. The seventh strategy is that you have to prioritize forgiveness and forbearance. You see this tool is the toolkit that you need to hold when you're coming into the marriage. Like when you hold Jesus, your joy. Another tool I've come to realize is the tool of forgiveness. Like you forgive as much as fast as you can. Recall that story of Jesus. When Peter came to Jesus and was saying to Jesus, how many times should we forgive people? And Jesus was speaking to him and make him understood why forgiveness is so powerful, and told him about the story of a man who forgave his servant who was owing him a lump sum. And now when that same servant went out, he could not forgive someone who was owing him like 1/5 of that kind of amount, or even 0.1%. I'm telling you. So he's saying that Jesus has forgiven us our sins and all of that. He has forgiven us even while we're yet sinners. Before we're born, he has released forgiveness upon us. So you should hold that as your currency in marriage. Hold the currency of just to buy the person's back to you. You need to forgive as much as you can. You don't need to always remind the person of what they have done. Yeah, if there's something they have done or they have said, you can lay it out to them, but you need to forgive. And forbearance means that you just have this room. This is how he is in this area. Whilst I pray and invest that he, closes the gap of this weakness, I'm just going to have this room where I just forgive in advance. So forgiveness will allow you to forge ahead as a team. You become a formidable team. So you need to forgive as much as you can. So the eighth strategy is that you need to invest in each other. Please don't leave your spouse the way that you met them. No. Let the parents of your wife look back and say, oh, it was what even their daughter to you, Yes, please invest in your spouse, invest in your husband. You see, there's a weakness, and there's something they need to do to close the gap that they do have probably in what they are doing or in your home. You should invest, pour into each other. You should invest your time, your resources in your spouse. That would also help your relationship to flourish, because I've come to realize that in marriage, you have to learn some things, you have to unlearn some things, you have to relearn some things. There's some things that actually not working for you. You need to unlearn that and get to a place where you can learn something new. So you have to invest in your spouse. And I learned this from my husband. So he said something whilst we were caught, and he said, it's better for you to marry someone who is teachable. Yes, when you marry someone who is teachable, to marry someone who claims to be brilliant. If you marry someone who is teachable, it means that they have a mind that can stretch, They can stretch and learn something, and it's something that they stare that is not profiting. They can take it out and feed it up with something else. So when you invest in this kind of people, with someone who has a teachable spirit, over a period of time, you begin to reap what you have invested. So you need to invest. You don't leave people the way that they are. Invest in them. The ninth strategy is that you have to prioritize loving each other. And love is a choice. Love is a person. Too many write-ups and too many things we need to do on that subject of love. Love is a person, because God is love. Love is a spirit. Love is a choice. So you need to prioritize love. And when I mean love, I'm not talking about being mushy I'm talking about being kind, being a kind person. I'm talking about being patient. That's what love is about. That's the descriptive nature of love. Love is not just one definitive word. You have to describe it. It is patient, it is kind, is not easily provoked, does not keep record of evil wrongs. And that's what love is about. Because the world has defined love to us in a certain way, but the person who created this institution has told us what the standard of love is kind and it's patient. It's forgiving, bears all things, believe all things, endures all things, rejoice when good comes. It's not proud, it's not puffed up, does not think of itself highly than the other. So that's what love is about. Love is kind. So you have to prioritize loving each other. Colossians chapter 3 verse 14 talked about a tender heart. Tender, a soft heart, receptive of the person. You have to prioritize loving each other. That way your home would blossom and bud. And so the 10th strategy, hey, so excited that we're here finally. And so the 10th strategy is that you have to prioritize peace over your preferences. So you have to choose what you want. In this time around, you need to know that, okay, at this time, we need to just have a peace talk. I need just peace to reign. This is what I prefer, but I'll let that slide, for now, so that peace can reign. Because you also want peace. Where there's peace, there'll always be progress. So at times you have to kill the urge of always wanting your preferences. You have to learn the act of compromises. You have to learn the act of negotiation. So one of the things you do in negotiation is that you do peace talk. Do you get this? You have to learn the act of negotiation. Yeah, so that you don't always have a problematic pattern in your marriage. So you have to choose peace over your preferences. And in that way, you would allow your home to flow with ease. And then maybe later on, you can now bring up the issues that are causing problem in a time where there's so much calmness. You can now bring up those conversations. But you must choose peace every time over your preferences. That's the only way your home can really thrive. And so those are the 10 strategies that can actually keep your home in a place where the devil will not really shrink you out of a significant place. I hope this has blessed you. And so in this year, or even beyond now, you need to have the strategies. Like I said earlier, it's not one rule. You need to have the strategies so that you can have your home move to a place where you have some level of balance and you can always bounce back no matter what comes your way or no matter what the devil throws at you. So when it comes to strengthening your home and walking in a place where you have so much dominion in your home, it means that you have to wait, because in waiting you are strengthened. For those that wait would have strength. So waiting means, W means that you have to work together. A means that you have to agree together. I means that you have to be intimate. And T means that you have to talk. You must talk. I mean, couples began talking, and when they get married, they just stonewall. They don't talk to each other. Please, stonewalling is something that you have to reject in this year. Reject from now on and talk your way to the top. Talk your way to the top. So I believe that you have learned one or two things from this whole strategies I have talked about. And so I wanted to share in the comment section what your takeaway is. And let me know if you also have questions. You could drop the questions. I'll be right there in the comment section responding to messages. And please do not forget to like, to share, to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because there'll be more contents coming up on this channel. God bless you. Till I see you next time, I am Esther Chinedu Dechukwu. Be good, be godly, and be gracious. Bye for now.